with the new education, with the new
everything to come back home.
To come back home.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Mr. Paulwell.
I want to say respect is due, because I believe that if you go away and better it, and there's nothing wrong with people leaving Jamaica and achieving and coming back to work. We have to create an environment, and we are so doing, where you can use the skills that you have acquired to come back and to establish yourself so that you can be productive, so that you can operate commercial ventures. There are many opportunities in my field, information communication technologies. It is amazing some of the services that Jamaicans are providing as we outsource to markets like the US. And it's not really outsourcing, it's near sourcing, because we are really in the backyard of the US, and there's no reason for us not to be able to reap tremendous benefits from this. And there's this market, not only in call centers, but in software development, in solving a number of problems for US corporations. We can do them in Jamaica. I think Phil Fender is here. He can tell you about the expertise of the Jamaican worker in providing services to American clients. And that's an area that we expect to expand on.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Chung, reverse migration, returning some of the talent back home.
Well, our position is simple. It is simple. There was a time in the 80s when you could walk into Caldors or Kmart or Walmart, and you could turn the thing around and it says, made in Jamaica. We don't have that anymore. How do we get it back? Change. Change. Change.
I think I can get Aki now in the US.
We're moving around. We're coming to you. We see you. Go ahead. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Marcus Gale, former political scientist, studied at the University of Florida. Mr. Chung,
yes,
you mentioned the economic model, and real quick, I know we are pressed for time, but I have two questions I would like to squeeze in. You mentioned the economic model of Singapore, which was part of the Four Tigers. You suggested Jamaica can do something similar. However, are you aware that the...
Question, get to your question.
Are you aware of the dynamics of that model, in that the US directly injected $100 million or billions of dollars into the economies of those countries? And do you expect them to similarly inject billions of dollars into the economy of Jamaica?
Thank you. Mr. Chung, you want to take that first? Go ahead.
Simple answer, yes. Yes. Done it before, and we'll do it again. But you can't do it unless you have change.
Mr. Paulwell.
As we look to see who enters the White House, I think it will be a Democrat, and we have a closer relationship, as you can imagine, with Hillary than Mr. Chung's party.
Question over here.
No, but just to be serious about it though, you cannot expect your country will grow from the handouts of other countries. It is through your own efforts that you're going to be able to achieve growth and development. No other way.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Sir, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Welcome to the gentlemen. This evening, I am all the way from, my name is Lloyd Dennis, I'm from Port St. Lucie.
Wow, 2.5 hours away.
Oh.
Yeah, I drove all the way up.
Give him a hand, give him a hand, give him a hand.
I'm a Jamaican who has been here 20 odd years. And then looking to retire, I want to go back to Jamaica.
Okay, so your question is?
It's not no joke.
Not a joke thing. It's not a joke
thing. I am talking about the violence. The violence is what is destroying Jamaica.
So the question is?
The question is, what we're going to do about the police department who is not doing the right job. I can attest that I worked in Jamaica 10 years ago.
Why is the police department not doing its job? That's the question.
Why?
Mr. Paulwell, you heard the question.
Yeah. As I was trying to point out earlier, the question of crime and violence is far more complex than just the police. And the police has to be a major player in solving the problem. And our problem really is more homicides, murder, rather than some of the serious other crimes, because we have been seeing a decline in other serious crimes. Murder is a real problem, and murder by the gun. A lot of it, when you trace it, most of the murders are committed by persons who know each other in drugs, domestic, and so on. So it is not just for the police to be present at every corner. It's going to require a systematic effort. You can help us over here, because Jamaica doesn't manufacture guns. And we have to find a way to stem the flow of guns from the United States of America to Jamaica.
That's one solution. That's one
part of it.
Mr. Chung, any other solutions on the violence or the police department not doing its job? That's your question.
Well, I feel strongly about the imposition of foreigners on Jamaica in the police force. I take the stand of Sir Alexander Bustamante. I said, why we don't have somebody that good in Jamaica, that we're going to bring somebody from overseas and pay them $200,000 a year and pay our own personnel on the ground and be paying them peanuts. And that's not right. In no language is that right. But we have a serious problem with crime. It chased away so many investments in Jamaica, so many dollars, crime and more crime. I wrote an article back in 2005, December, and Scree Bertram had written on this. And I was right after conference, and I decided I was going to put pen to paper. It had a number of 1,500 and some odd murders. Mind, these are mothers who have lost children, the majority of. 1,100 and some odd of those murders came from one section of in other words, you were to cordon them off, was one section of St. Andrew and Kingston. I'm not going to call the constituencies, because death is death. Of one Jamaican is the same thing. Well, I guess here we need to join hands, and we need to really, really, honest to God, we can get rid of crime. Cuba don't have no crime. Sections of America don't have no crime.
Thank you, Mr. Chung.
Why we tolerating?
Thank you, Mr. Chung. Question from the audience. Directed Mr. Paulwell, when can we start mining Port Royal as a major historical cultural destination, and also using other cultural tourism products in Jamaica for investment?
It's probably the most frustrating thing as MP for me not to see as yet the development of Port Royal. Port Royal can become the major rival to Disney World in this hemisphere. What is required, because the government has invested millions of dollars into developing a plan. It has done all the feasibilities. We have the plan to establish a cruise shipping facility. We have the plan to establish visits to the underwater city. Not many persons are aware that most of Port Royal is underwater, in shallow water, and we need to get our visitors and our people to see it. We need investors. And I think at the time when we were pushing for this investment project in Port Royal, 9/11 happened. We now need
How can somebody in the diaspora invest in something like that?
We are prepared to enable anybody who can find the resources upwards of about 100 million US, but you can start small. You can start small. We have the capability to enable you to have the land and to provide any support you need to get Port Royal going. So we are doing houses now. We are building a scheme in Port Royal to accommodate the people. So the housing situation is going to be eased. Infrastructure has been put in place for water, electricity, and so on. We need foreign investors. And I think this is a project that Jamaicans should own and operate.
Cultural tourism projects, Mr. Chung, the JLP has any thoughts on that?